Okay, ladies and gents, we're going to install PfSense now. I'm going to go ahead and choose one to launch the default installer. This is PfSense 2.0. Now, do note this is being installed on a VMware virtual machine for the purposes of making this video. It has a 20 gigabyte hard drive, 512 meg of RAM, and we have two interfaces. We have one that's public and one that's private. So I'm going to go ahead and type I here because I want to install it. Okay. We can configure our console here. I'm not going to bother to do that. I'm going to do pretty much everything I can through the web interface and only go to the console when I need to. So I'm going to accept these settings. I'm going to do a quick and easy installation, which is going to automatically partition and do everything for me that I needed to do to get a PfSense install up and running. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let this install. It shouldn't take a whole lot of time to install, but after the installation finishes, you'll be prompted to eject the installation media, whether that's a CD or USB memory stick. Go ahead and do that, and I'm going to pick up with you once the install finishes. Okay, the install is finished. So what we're doing now is I'm just leaving the keyboard alone. I'm letting all the defaults take over, and that's going to go ahead and boot up PfSense normally. And we're going to be presented with our detected network adapters. Make sure you check the hardware compatibility list. PfSense.org has a forum, and there's information there about compatible hardware. You're going to need compatible hardware. If you don't see any interfaces under valid interfaces, then chances are your hardware is not supported, and you'll need to either build a custom kernel or purchase hardware that's supported. So in any event, I've got two interfaces there. My public is EM0 and my private is EM1 for reference. I'm not going to worry with setting up VLANs right now, so I'm going to say go ahead and say no to the VLANs. Okay, it's going to ask me, okay, which interface is my WAN interface? And I said EM0. Okay. Then it's going to ask me to specify the LAN interface, which is going to be the interface that I want to protect. And that is going to be EM1, as I said. Now, if you have additional interfaces, you can specify those here, how you would like those broken down. I only have two interfaces for the purposes of this demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter here. Okay. Then it's going to present me with the configuration options that I just went through, and it's going to confirm that I want to proceed. So I'm going to say yes, I want to proceed. And it's going to proceed to configure the system. So we're going to wait for it to go through and do that. Okay. Then after the installation is completed, we're going to be presented with the terminal. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set the IP address or note the IP address of the LAN interface. Okay. If the default is 192.168.1.1. If you want that to be or need that to be something different, then you'll need to select option 2 to set the interface address. Okay, I'm going to leave the interface address alone. I'm going to break here, and then I'm going to go to my Windows machine and launch the web configurator. HTTPS, remember the S, 192.168.1.1. Okay, it says it's not available, and chances are it's not available because the DHCP is not enabled. I don't believe that's enabled by default. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to go in here to Open Network and Sharing Center. I'm going to change adapter settings. And on my local area connection, I'm going to go to Properties. I'm going to uncheck IPv6. I'm not using that. So I'm going to put in my address here, 192.168.1.253. That's what I'm going to use. And you see it automatically populates the subnet mask for me. And of course my default gateway is going to be my firewall, 168.1.1. DNS server is going to be the same thing for the purposes of this presentation. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and say OK to that. And we'll say this is a work network. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and try this again. This is a common problem. What happens is people can't, they get it installed and they can't access the configurator. You want HTTPS, you do not want HTTP. I'm going to get a security error. I'm going to say proceed. Default username is admin. Password is PfSense. Okay, and now you can see I'm presented with my dashboard, and from here I can go in and I can configure all of my settings to my preferences. But this is how you get the firewall up and running. And the first thing you're probably going to want to do is enable the DHCP server. Actually, it is enabled, so I probably could have done it by default. So I could have done an IP configure new because my machine was already on and I would have picked up an address. But that's basically how you get started with a full installation of PfSense.